We the property BRRRRothas. The property BRRRRothas.
What's up, fam, and welcome back to the Property Brothers. Man, hey, Property Brothers, baby, where we break down real estate for working folks, building wealth, one deal at a time. I am your host, Jordan, along with my brother, the numbers ninja himself, Drew. What's cracking, brother?
What's up, brother? I am so excited. So first of all, hey, how was your birthday?
All the way live,
Dude,
man.
How was your birthday?
The big 4-0. It was great, bro. Man, I just turned 40, dog. And dude, thank you for coming out, pulling up with the wife and my buddy pulling up with his family, man. And dude, we was living like kings, man. We kind of forgot that we were just some regular old Joes trying to build and stack doors and legacies.
Hey.
But hey, you only live once, baby. YOLO. It was great.
I don't know if
man.
I could party with you anymore. You got me sick. You got me sick.
Oh, no.
You really did.
Hey.
Anyways, listen, check it out. I am so excited for this. I'm excited for this podcast, brother, dude. This is going to be so awesome. We've been talking about this for the last 3 weeks, right? We've been saying, dude, we got to bring Jabez back in here. We got some deals we want to share with Jabez. We got to get him across the finish line. So today we're joined by Jabez. We're joined by Sean. We're joined by, I don't see Caleb anymore. Where did he go?
I don't see him.
Oh,
he popped out.
He's a busy man running teaching the class over there. Earn your leisure. Hopefully.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's all good, dude. We got some exciting properties for you to check out today. I'm stoked. How you feeling?
Yes.
How you been? Where you been? What you been up to?
Man, I'm excited.
What up, Jabez?
Hey, man, listen, first of all, I appreciate the opportunity and I appreciate all the work that we've been doing on a day in and day out, holding each other accountable. And I just been busy building, man. We're building out Natural Light. I'm not a vegan. I'm a Natural Light. And it's a movement. And, been selling my books. We just took like 1,200 books to the post office and dropped them off. And just been busy. And so, in 2020, I changed my name. And I really focused in on social media, and I chose the name Jabez Invest because I wanted to manifest mastering investing, and particularly in real estate. But then I took off with the book and with social media, and so I focused in on that, and I've been putting money to the side to invest in real estate when it made sense. And then God placed y'all in my life, and so I got money to work with. And here we are, man. So we're going to, I guess, look at deals and I want to squeeze on something that makes sense. And I'm ready. I'm in student mode and I'm in buying mode at the same time.
I'm so excited. I got my calculator. I'm sitting here pressing the buttons. I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
Yes, sir. Hey, and then we also
Sean?
got,
what's up, Sean?
Yeah, we got Sean Elliott here, man. Gabriel Property Management. What's good, baby?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for having me. This is Sean from Gabriel Property Management, the ND Property Manager. Hey, man, happy to be here, guys.
Absolutely.
Brother. Absolutely, man. So listen, guys. So our brother Caleb found a deal for Jabez. He ain't here right now. He gonna be popping in later, man. He gonna be pulling up, but we got some deals for him too, man. And we are going to be breaking them down to help our boy Jabez, find his first investment property. And hey, tonight might be the night. So hey, y'all, relax, maybe grab a drink, pull up your spreadsheets, and hey, let's get into it, huh?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So Jordan, found
a
couple of you found a deal for him, right? So why don't you pull yours up and let's talk about it. Like, what drew you to this particular property? What are some of the standouts that you're like, dude, this would be dynamite? JJ, you remember? Remember JJ? Y'all remember JJ?
Yeah.
Hey, man. I think you are alienating some of our viewers and you showing your age.
I'm about to say, you showing your age. You definitely alienated age group. I tell you.
Oh, man, that's funny, dude. I always got to take jabs with my brother. So listen, I got this pulled up right now on the screen. But before we jump into here, real quick, Jabez, man, you're the only one, like you said, that's trying to get into the real estate space, brother. And we want to encourage, we want to help you. So just real quick, can you tell us, because the Property Brothers, we're all about the why, right? We're all about why are we doing this? You know, what is the reason that we get into this? So can you kind of just break down, just real quick, peel back why you want to buy, why now, you know, and what are your goals with real estate investing?
Well, honestly, I've been praying the prayer of Jabez for years, you know, and I've been praying that to enlarge my territory. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, the biggest issue that we deal with is lack of awareness of how to acquire land, and also a lack of awareness
Yes.
about agriculture, especially as a group of people. And so I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's really the core of why I want to master real estate, is to learn how to buy smart and put my money into real estate for tax purposes and wealth purposes, to be able to pass it down, to have a vast amount of space that I'm in control of, and that I could be united with brothers like you, and we could control the land and control what we produce with the land, and just to be independent. So that's really what it's about for me and my family, my wife, my children. That's really, it's more so about control, ownership, and being able to work the land, because I believe that the land is a source of all wealth, than anything else, you know. So I just
Yeah.
want
Brother,
to master it. Like,
brother, that is so dude, that's just so inspiring, man. That's great, man. And you know, we talked about this back in our first roundtable episode, and Jabez kind of broke that down. So if you haven't yet, maybe go back, watch our first roundtable. I think it was episode 7. But hey, man, so this is what we got. Thank you for sharing that, bro.
also, let
Hey,
me say
wait,
this,
hold on one second.
because
Guess what?
Caleb just
Guess
popped up.
who's here? Guess who's here? What's up,
Hey
Caleb?
man,
The man,
hey
the myth, the
man,
legend.
hey man, how we doing? How we doing, you guys, man? Fresh off the EYLU class. I'm sorry, you guys, man. I tried to be in 2 places at once, but hey, I ain't Superman. But I do got some very important things I'm trying to bring to the round table. That'll be
Let's
Yes,
given
do
to
it.
sir.
my guy Jabez.
Let's do it,
Yes,
Yes,
man.
sir.
sir.
And I
And I
want to say
think
this
that
just to, I want to say this just to add a little context too, because I've never purchased property before. And so as you guys present these properties, I'm just gonna ask questions from the perspective of being curious. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that, you know, for all the people that are watching it, for you that are watching it, that it's just, it brings value to you. As far as each step of this process, our goal is to document it step by step, because I'm a visual learner and I like to see things actually being done in real time. So that's the purpose of this. We're doing it to They're doing it to help me, and we're all doing it to help you, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah,
That's
1000%.
very well said. Very well said.
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
All right.
man.
So
Go ahead. Go ahead, Drew. Kick it
I was gonna
off.
say, what you got, man? What we're all excited to see what you got under your sleeves.
Man, Jordan, if you can go ahead. So I have a property. It's a unique type of deal that basically I was acquiring property is owned by 3 family members that they, when somebody dies, they leave the house over. So then don't nobody want nothing to do with the house, because they gotta pay the taxes, they gotta do the upkeep on the house and do
Right.
all that stuff. So they basically let the house run down and nobody did any attention to the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the property that I was going to and I'm going to acquire. So this property end up having the title work pulled. So when you do the actual title work on the property, I found out that it was it had some bad title work and bad liens and stuff like that. So what we end up having to do was we end up finding out that the sister was back behind on her property. So in order to make this sale go through, the bank says, "Hey, she's in foreclosure too. So you're going to have to
Mm.
buy her property in order to buy the else property." So when my guy comes back with that information, I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? Like, I don't plan on, I didn't plan on buying 2 deals for one." So then, I go by. And I'm like, all right, I look at the deal. I start to check it out. So I'm like, this might not be a bad deal after all, right? So I'm
Yeah.
currently in the middle of 2 new constructions that I'm doing. So I'm like, okay, we'll figure out how we can bring Jabez in
That's a
as far
looker.
as getting his first property, right? So
Yeah.
I
That
told him,
basement
I
is a big
said,
time looker.
That's a looker.
Yeah, that
I see a
basement.
looker.
Hey. So what is a looker? When you say a looker, what does that mean when you say it's a looker?
When you look at that, you like, damn. Ooh. You don't even want to touch it. Like it hurts to look at it, right? When you see a looker, there's dollar signs there because
yes,
everybody else
sir.
runs away. They run away, right? They don't want to
Run
deal with
away
this
from the
looker.
lookers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And then so Caleb, I met Caleb matter of fact, at an Earn Your Leisure event, he was telling me how fast he could fix properties up, and that's part of the game that he really mastered out there in Indianapolis. And
Yeah.
so how much? So how much would this be? How much does this property right here cost, bro? This one right here.
All right, so the cost of the property is about 90,000 is what they wanted. So want for it. So you're looking at probably about 92 after you're all said and done. So and as far as rehab, if you can look inside of the video, you have 2 different options. So you can either do the first option, which is, rental, the BRRRR strategy, or you can flip it. So those 2 kind of determine on which way that you're going to go about it strategy wise, right?
And let's go back to the BRRRR deal. So it's buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. That's the BRRRR method, right? And that's the one that, we talk about to create legacy, right? For the right deals, if it makes sense. So now, Caleb, all of this is good. You're the numbers that you are putting out there. Is there something that you can share what this would look like financially for Jabez?
I don't shoot. I went to go look at it today. We should do a follow up because
Okay.
then I
For
will
sure.
have the bid and the sheets. I kind of have like just the rough breakdown of the notes, the scope of work. So whenever I go into the property, I immediately start doing my bid because I am a licensed general contractor. I have my own contracting company. So when I go in there, I start counting. Okay, how many light fixtures? How many can lights I'm gonna have to do? How much is the bathroom gonna cost me? How many square feet of flooring am I putting tile in the kitchen? So for me, a lot of times now I'm putting the extra little money in to put tile in the kitchen. Why? Because it gives that wow factor when you walk into that kitchen, regardless of where you are in the house, right? So if you were to keep it as a rental, then I would do the basement later, right? I would fix it up now to, be okay and livable, but then fully finish it out and then add that bathroom. I would wait because that appreciation play, from my investment standpoint, says that it's gonna go up because it's over there. It's 2 seconds from the highway. It's one exit from downtown. A lot of Airbnbs and stuff are over there in that area. So
So are you recommending to do the bathroom later? Like don't do it now, but push it off to a later date?
depending on what's his strategy, if you're going to BRRRR it or you're going to flip it. You're going to flip it, you finish out the basement, then you put that bathroom down there, you do the works. If you're going to rent it, you just get the basement okay and livable in. So then somebody can count that as a bedroom for a rental. Then you do the full rehab, maybe 4 or 5 years down the road. Why? Because that's when that area be ready for those 300, 350 type of homes.
So what you're saying is maybe come in there, pay cash for this right now, and then don't refinance out of it. Maybe hold on to it for a little bit and wait for the appreciation to really come in there so that you can make a big, serious cash play down the road.
Yeah, the cash play down the road,
Yeah.
I would say, is if I was keeping it, because you got to think, Drew, when you go into that garage, You got that opportunity at that things y'all like to do, the ADUs.
Yeah.
That's that Cali swagger coming to the Midwest. You and Jordan, the property
Yes, sir.
brothers, want to bring the ADU
Brothers.
hey
Let's
out to
go.
the Midwest. So that's what I'm saying. With all of our knowledge, what do y'all think by looking at this property, the potential? Do you go BRRRR?
So what I
You
would
know?
do, let me tell you. So what we kind of teach and talk about is going in and putting in the maximum amount of value in the beginning so that you can pull out the maximum amount of money and recoup your expense. Let's say you refinance into a shorter term loan, like a 1 year or 2 year loan. So you allow it to still appreciate, but you don't have to get back in there again and lose rent, right? You can go back in there in 2 or 3 years and refinance again and pull out that excess cash that that has accrued over time, right? So that's how I would kind of approach it because I don't want to have to touch a property twice. I want to be in there one time. I want to force as much value as I possibly can, as long as the economics make sense. And then, if I know that I want to BRRRR and I know that there's going to be a tremendous amount of appreciation down the road, I'm not going to put it into a 5 year loan, a loan that's going to penalize me after 5 years. I'm going to put it into a loan that's going to, maybe penalize me after a year or 2 years. So we allow that to get that appreciation and then boom. But what happens if something weird comes up where like I can get money out of it now where it's appreciated, right? And then all of a sudden an economic downturn happens, right? And that appreciation that I was hoping came up in 2 to 3 years, but it doesn't. Now we screwed because we put together this plan and so I that's how I would approach it. I'd approach it a little bit differently, but I do see where you're coming from, and I think that that's definitely a play. And it's almost you're hoping that the appreciation hits that block,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
I like to say this. I like to say this because I was on the phone with my financial advisor. Shout out Mario. I was on the phone with him earlier today, and he was thinking that it would be a smart play for Airbnb because what I want to start doing is buying and holding. Like I just want to start expanding my portfolio. I'm not really looking to get in and out of deals or flip. I want to just start building out my portfolio. So I want to buy smart for that reason, like holding long term. So I'm thinking when you just now said since it's so close to downtown, it's right off the freeway, and Airbnb might be a good play. Let me ask you this: if I do an Airbnb play, I fix it up, it'll be more for taxes too. Like I got to start doing smart things with the money that's coming in, and so we'll still be able to do the BRRRR method and all that, with it being an Airbnb.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah. The only challenge that you have is
Is
that
the refinance part.
the refund. Exactly. Talk about that, CEO.
So definitely when you're going into that refinance part, they're going to want to see that property lease. So that long-term lease. So that's what they're banking on. When we talk about that DSCR loan, that's the debt service ratio loan, right? And what that basically does is if the debt that you own on the company, the property and the rent is higher than that debt, right? Then they will give you the loan, right? Based off of just solely off of the income, right? That the property is bringing in. So, in this question, what happens when you have an Airbnb? Well, technically, you don't have a long term lease, right? So, that's the only catch 22. So, what I start doing is my company's the entity, right? Am the signer of the lease, right? And then what I do is I Airbnb it out. Now you are taking that personal risk, right? Because if you don't pay that, then you gotta pay it. But you are the individual that
You're the guarantor.
essentially is paying it. They can't say that you don't live at a place that your business own. You just don't own it from you as a person, right? So that is the loophole of how I've been able to close the deals. Shout out to my lenders, man. I've been able to close those type of Airbnb type of houses deals.
Now, there
Now,
are there
Yeah.
are other lenders that are out there now that will actually lend on short term and midterm. I've found 2 or 3 that will do it, but you got to go through a little bit more paperwork, etc. Sean, what were you going to say?
Yeah. So my my risk and my property management hat came out here. So when I heard that, right? So Airbnb, right? So Airbnb is good, but there's a alternative way to do it, and it's kind of like what Mr. CEO Keys was saying. But instead of you taking on that risk, there are people out there that does what's called rental arbitrage, and they'll sign a long-term lease with you and do the Airbnb. So you're achieving what you want to achieve, but not but able to also do the refinance if you need to, okay? Because you have a long-term lease and you're also getting the Airbnb in your property. So that's the way to think about it also. And there's people that it happened with Jordan's property. Someone called me and wanted to Airbnb inside of that property. And they wanted to
Now,
kind
Well,
of
Sean, let
Sean's
me ask
got
you a question.
personal experience with that too, because
Yeah.
that's how he came up in the real estate space, is that rental arbitrage with Airbnbs.
So I want to
exactly.
ask you a question. So one of the things that Jabez was talking about before the show was that his accountant recommended doing Airbnb because of the tax benefits. But if you are essentially doing rental arbitrage, aren't you technically signing a long-term lease with one individual and they're really taking advantage of the Airbnb income?
aspect.
So he wouldn't be able to
True.
take advantage of that
That's
Airbnb.
that's true. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, there's ways you can always work a deal out because a lease is honestly just it's just like any other contract.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do a fully furnished rental if you want to.
Yeah.
That's another option. And that would definitely attract someone that wants to do Airbnb because they don't have to buy the furniture. So that's the way to do it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I'm
cool.
solution. I'm about solutions.
So bringing it back to Caleb, man. So this deal, what attracted you to this? Obviously, I know that there's a property that you're trying to purchase and this is tied up in it, but what are some of the nuggets that you like, dude, this would be a great first investment for Jabez?
Yeah, some of the
You know,
amenities, kind of that stuck out
Paul,
to you.
I don't know about you guys, but on my first one, boy, I tried to hit it home. So, hey, I tried to hit that mug
Out the
home.
park,
I
baby.
did a out the park. I did a 20 by 20 add-on primary suite, and then I did it all the way down to the studs. So I will always tell a first-time investor, first-time person that's getting into the game, do your and something that my mentor told me on your first one, don't try to lose as much money as you can, right? So instead of us losing
Sound
money,
advice.
sound advice. But look, this is the thing though. You have every key piece to the you got what everybody here didn't have. So it's
Right.
different for you. You got somebody bringing you the deal. Like you
Yep.
got
Right.
it. You
Right.
got it. Hey, you got somebody who's
You
bringing
got
you a
coaches.
good deal from the numbers perspective as an
Yeah.
investor. You're buying it at a discounted price. Given the shape that it's in, you
Already
definitely
buying
buying it
right.
as already
Mhm.
buying right. You
Yep.
have a in-house contractor that is going to make sure that the work goes right. Right?
Already rehabbing right.
It's already rehabbing, right? So these are the type of things. Well, the biggest thing was like, how do I make sure that Jabez gets across the finish line, is able to tell a success story? So,
Yeah.
hey, he don't have to get in there. The most thing that I would say that is my only thing would be the basement and knowing
Mhm.
whether to finish it out, what to do inside of that basement, where to add the bathroom, because that's the only additive and the highest expense that you will have on this
Mm,
type of rehab.
hold on one second.
When
Go
you talk
ahead.
about
Did you
that
do a
basement,
sewer scope?
There's no tree. I would say no. I didn't do a super scope, but there's no trees in front of the property at
It don't
all.
matter. It does not matter.
You think so?
Did he do a what?
A
A sewer
sewer
scope.
scope.
So let me just tell you guys a little story. I bought a house and there was water in the basement. All right. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do a sewer scope. They went through and they tried to get through this sewer. And they said, all it is somebody flushed a bunch of, flushable wipes down and it formed a little concrete. I was like, all right, I'm going to buy this house anyway. It turned out the sewer line went under the neighbor's house and under another neighbor's house into an alley. It collapsed.
lateral.
the lateral. So Citizen said, check it out. You can't go and fix that sewer underneath the house. You have to find the nearest lateral, which happened to be across a 4-lane street. That was an $80,000 job. So listen, I'm not here to complain. I'm just trying to say, make sure you do your sewer scopes, especially in Indy.
Diligence.
How much is it cost to get that done?
Well, I would say we can go ahead and get
150.
it done.
150. $150.
Oh yeah, we got.
Get that sewer scope.
Yeah,
Right?
so
Just do it.
It's worth
for
it.
me, I've not. Yeah, I would say definitely look into doing the sewer scope. I have when we were actually at that thing, where we actually met at that conference. They were saying the importance of having a sewer
Yeah.
scope. So me as a contractor is kind of different because I know where the zip codes are that had the bad piping and the bad clay pipes. Like for example, Dr. Andrew J. Brown, where Drew's got a property at, that has clay piping over there. So you're gonna
Mine
have
just got replaced. It got replaced.
you see what I'm
It's
saying?
beautiful.
Like
Yeah.
the certain type of zip codes and where they did or where they have done, but you are right. Normally, like, all right, so for example, we get to the end of the property and we're like, hey, we're going to go ahead and go through with the deal. Well, I'll go ahead and pay for an inspection.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and pay for an inspection rather than me going in there or having one of my crew members go in there and do the inspection on the house. Yes, we're contractors. Yes, we know we're going to 9 times out of 10 replace everything, but at the same time, for the stuff we don't foresee or the stuff that's on the roof, it can be definitely stuff. I know I bought one one of my properties that I didn't think, was nothing on it. It was in the winter too, so I didn't know nothing was wrong with the roof. It didn't have anything that was inside the house that you could see was something wrong with the roof. It wasn't until you got up there to say, oh, dang, it's some decking that's damaging and ripped off.
So I want to bring this back real quick. So you believe that this is a home run and that's why you brought this to the table. That's awesome. I think that this is a great first option, but we got 2 more options for you to take a look at. So are you ready to move on?
Yeah, man.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Jordan.
Oh, man.
Jordan,
Cool.
what you got, brother?
Yeah, man. So that was a solid breakdown, bro. So real quick, Jabez, how's this landing with you so far? Any kind of initial reactions before we hit that next one?
I feel like I'm looking at it. If it's 90,000 to get it, 92 for the total price before rehab, before like putting money into it to make it look nice. And the ARV, like the after repair value, what you said it was, Caleb, like 180 something?
What would you say conservatively if you went on the high end a little
If
bit?
I went
or
on the
medium
high
end?
end,
Like let's say you converted that garage into
Yeah, high end, low end.
you do that ADU.
Boy.
That's what I'm saying. To me, it's a win-win.
You're not gonna be able to find a unique property for the appraisal portion of it when you're going back to the bank. So that's
That matters.
my only scary part is like, okay, you can do all of that stuff, add the ADU,
Yeah. But if
put
there's
the
nothing to
bathroom
compare
stuff.
it to, then
Wouldn't that be couldn't they compare it to like a duplex or a multi-unit or something like that?
They would have to. They would have to because that's technically 2 separate units,
Exactly.
So we're thinking that possibly he can be in the low 2s?
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
So maybe let's say 215. So
yeah,
dude.
let's just say
and I mean,
215.
so for the audience, what we typically do is we will look at Zillow and we will look at something that is comparable, looks like our house, looks like the front, looks like the inside. Did they sell that for $239 because it was HGTV or was it just lipstick on a pig? Right. So we want to say, all right, if we did comparable upgrades, would our house, we should be able to get that same value. So, we don't want to necessarily throw darts at the wall and hope that it hits. We want to try and be within
Hope
the
is not a
bullseye.
number. Yeah. So we
It's not
definitely
a
want to
number.
use those comps. Well, cool, man. Cool. All right. So let me slide my deal across the table now. So
Let's go,
listen,
baby.
it's kind of a similar price range. It's a SFH, which stands for single family home or single family resident. It's a little different setup. So now let's kind of see how it stacks up. So right across the board, right off the bat, you know, we see the price. Beautiful.
That's really sexy. I like
what
that.
stands out to me, Jabez, besides the price, right? $75K, and it's taking me back to my first one, is the square footage, right? And then look at the number of beds and baths. So I got a 2-bedroom, I got a 1-bath, and I got over 2,000 square footage. So for our audience at home, a lot of things that the property brothers that we love to do is we love to add value. So when we see that there's bedrooms, a couple of bedrooms and only 1 bath, but a whole lot of square footage, that tells us that we can possibly add bedrooms or a bathroom or both. Okay. So as I scroll through these pictures,
down.
Yeah, as I scroll through these pictures, man, we got the kitchen coming up. The outside actually didn't look too bad.
No,
but the inside,
this
you
is
know, is
ugly.
definitely. Yeah. So Jabez, what do we call this, brother? What do we call these?
Hey, look.
That's a looker.
That's a looker. Look at that
but
little video
look at all those
kitchen.
walls. Look at all those walls we could knock down and create some open concepts up in this house, man.
Yes, sir. Look at that ugly carpet, right? It's beautiful, man. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at them doors, ugly, right? So a bathroom. They tried to do something
look at that bathroom. What is that?
Terrible.
What is that? Wallpaper? Blue wallpaper? That's Smurf wallpaper? What is that?
I don't even know.
like
It's
it.
like they tried to put a surround in and then put a wallpaper and tile. I don't know. I think they got confused. And then they got like a kind of looks like a nice, like,
what is up with
little
that
vanity.
Yeah, they were trying to
do something
real quick.
Yeah.
I like it.
Whoa. Now here's where I
Talk
want to
about
go
lipstick
to,
on a pig.
Hey,
What,
but
that's the
look,
second story?
this is upstairs. And this reminds me of my BRRRR last year upstairs. What does this look like to y'all?
Right.
We got 1 bedroom up there.
Yep. 2
But
bedrooms
look
right
at
there,
this.
right?
Look at this loft, y'all. What could we possibly do here?
Another bedroom.
We could do a ton of things here. We could
bedroom, bathroom.
frame up, add a bedroom. We could frame up, add a bathroom, bring the plumbing upstairs, man. There's a lot of things that we can do here in this untapped space. So again, 2,100 square feet, only 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, lots of walls. We knock them bad boys out. We go frame up upstairs, add a bathroom. So possibly this can be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right? When they're all said and done.
And this is where it's super important to have the right contractor on a job where they can come in with the vision and say, hey, listen, here are the options. We can knock this wall down, make it more open concept. We can add a bedroom here. We can add a bathroom here. You know, you want somebody who has a creative mind that can see, hey, this is what's going on in this neighborhood. This is what's trending. Kind of like what CEO Keys said. He's like, hey, I always do tile in the kitchen because that is something unique that you don't see. You want somebody to bring that kind of mentality to your project so you can squeeze as much value as possible.
Yeah, man. So as we move outside, y'all, hold up. As we move outside, look at this, okay? This is the real
ADU?
gem.
Is that an ADU?
This is a 4-car garage, y'all.
What?
Where is it?
I didn't misspeak. Said 4. Dog,
What?
look how big this garage is. This sexy.
Damn.
Look at this.
Oh,
Look at
shoot.
that bad boy.
All right, so
look how big this is.
Look, when I see that, I see another thing that you can rent out, man.
1,000%,
make it a
bro.
whole ADU.
What are you
Bro,
thinking,
you
Sean?
could,
What would you do with
yeah, man.
this?
Talk to us.
What would Sean do with this? What would you do?
Well, I was thinking, man. I was looking at it that I know we're saying ADU, but I mean, we can also just rent that out as a garage space. Honestly, people need to store stuff all the time. I mean, you
Got
can
you.
save a lot of money like that.
My
Instead of trying to
life.
Dude,
put plumbing inside there.
There's actually a service that's
1000%.
like Airbnb where you could
Exactly.
actually rent out your space like Airbnb.
There you go.
Dude,
There
this
you go.
thing
So
is
that's the way
so
to
big.
increase your cash
And I
flow.
don't know if y'all can see this. Look at this is a big screen TV. It looked like an ant in the inside that garage. That's how big that garage is. This giant 75-inch screen TV look tiny.
Yeah.
You say how many square feet the garage is?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I can look, but dog, look,
Dude, that's beautiful.
4-car garage, bro. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me go back. What it said right there.
Mm-hmm.
Pending.
Somebody
It's pending.
snatched that up.
Which we don't blame them. Somebody snatched that up quick. Look, I found this on Sunday when we are recording, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Wednesday. This thing pended
Got snatched up.
between now and then. Got snatched up.
Well, dude,
But
it's all good.
what we could talk
go
about is
what
what,
the
Drew?
numbers look like. Let's go through
Yeah.
the numbers, man.
Let's go through the numbers real quick.
There we go.
So they dropped
you
the
go.
price big time.
I mean, so and that's crazy. All right, so
Yeah.
what do these
So
numbers
look-
look like, Jordan? What do these
So
numbers
look,
look
we got
like?
the
Let's go
numbers
through
here,
it.
man. So this is the Property Brothers BRRRR calculator. And so I just did some quick back of the napkin math, Jabez, and just kind of threw some numbers out here, right? So for the people listening on podcasts, go on over to YouTube. We're doing a screen share. I got a full kitchen replacement. I got a full bathroom replacement. Depending on what you want to do, Jabez, you could add another one, right? And just, double that bathroom price, right? For bathroom 2. We're going to paint it, right? Forgot to put in that flooring, but just know that you'll be
Throw it in
replacing
there.
the flooring. Let's say what? Let's
How many
say
square
what?
feet is it?
It's 21. It's 21, hun.
All right, so what's that about, Caleb? If we're gonna do flooring,
That's about what? $8,000.
42.
Depends on where you're getting your flooring. So hey, we like to shop.
pretend we got
at
it
the-
from that place that was $2.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Beautiful.
I was gonna give him.
All right, so
I was
we
gonna
going
give
through.
him the place. I was gonna give him the
Hey,
place.
we going
but
through, right?
damn,
We got
Drew.
all. Here's our rehab total, man. We all in at about 51,700.
That's pretty.
That's
And now, obviously,
beautiful,
we
dude.
didn't do a sewer scope. We didn't do
a sewer
foundation
scope
checks,
yet.
right? This is just back of the napkin stuff.
Yeah,
right?
quick math.
Here's my ARV, bro. I looked at the comps, and if you kept it at a 2-1, you could hit about 185. If you decided to add a bathroom, now we're 3, or now we're 2-2. If you decided to add a bedroom, now we're 3-2. That ARV can go up to that 220, 215 mark, right? And what this is showing us the ARV at 75% with our rehab estimate and our max allowable offer at that purchase price. So if they want 75 and our max allowable is 91, man, we all the way in, right?
Way underneath. And let me break that down real quick. When he says that the max allowable offer is 75, what he's saying is that when you are refinancing, the bank is going to give you 75% of your money if you're within 3 months, or 80% of your money. Actually, we talked about that last episode. That 80% does not exist right now.
It may not.
Right?
It's kind of a unicorn.
It may not. Yeah. So they're typically starting at 70%. So with you being a new investor, they may only give you 70% of your ARV. Can you put that screen back up so I could just check that out real quick?
Sure.
They may only give you 70% of your ARV. So at that point in time, can you put 70% in there instead of 75%? So we could see what that maximum allowable offer is there. So that's 82,000. You're still well below your the number that they're asking for, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty sexy.
And then I would have to come out of pocket how much for the loan?
Well, for the loan, the purchase price is 75, so you're looking at 10% plus costs. So you're looking at probably about $12,000 that you would have to come out of pocket.
That sounds about right. Maybe a little less, a little more, depending on the lender. And ladies and gentlemen, we will put the template in our Property Brothers toolkit. You can find it in our show notes. So, all right, Jabez. So, dude, now you got two solid options, man. I mean, listen, that other one is pending, right? But what we can do is
hold on, Jordan. I want Jabez to know one more thing.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sean?
Okay, if you keep it the way it is, all right, it's another way to look at it, okay, because it's about cash flow. Keep it the way it is, all right. The rent you can get on it is about $1,000, a 2-1, as a 2-1. Now, if you add a bedroom, you get about $422 more for your rent a month. All right.
So that's taking it to 1,400.
All right, and if you go to a 3-bed, 2-bath, you get $1,635.
Okay.
Okay. So it's all about, so it seemed like right there, you add a 3-bed, 1-bath, you'll get the most as far as monthly rent. You're banging for your buck as far as monthly cash flow that you want, what you want.
And CEO Keys, how much more is it to add a bedroom, if we're looking at budget?
I would say about 5,000, 4,000, if that. Labor and materials.
No brainer.
Yeah, I would say.
So now you're getting a bump on your ARV. You're getting a bump on your rent, right? You're really maximizing that cash on both sides.
Yeah, bro. That's dope, dude.
So how you feeling, Jabez? Hey, Sean, that was great information, dude. Thanks for putting that in.
For real. I feel good, man. I feel real confident. I feel blessed. I'm looking at Caleb's deal like it's closer to the bank, like it can actually happen. The one that's pending as a backup in case it falls through and with Caleb.
That's right. But they always take backup offers.
All right. Can I show you mine?
Hey, man.
Okay,
Drew's bringing the big
Drew
guns.
might have the whole run.
All right. So I actually brought something different this time. So hold on, let me find it. There it is. Oh. All right, here we go. All right. So check this out. So this is a property that I found and I brought it to my agent, and we've been kind of going back and forth, and it's active right now because it just fell out the market. It was actually under contract a little bit ago, and they put it back on the market. But I know that with this property, this is a duplex. Okay.
What does active mean? Say it again, because you lost me with the active.
So active means that it's back on the market. It was pending.
Okay.
So I had put an offer in, somebody else put an offer in, and they want it. And I know what the numbers should be. Yeah. And I know what how much I can afford right now. Right. And so they went with the other offer. They was a little selfish, right? But they came back to me and they said, hey, listen, if you go at 125, you can have it. Okay. Right. So let's go through this. This is a looker for sure. Let me just pull this up. It looks really nice on the outside, but look at this. That I like the way y'all said that.
Looky
here. It's a looker.
Looky.
Damn, dog. 6 beds.
Yes. But look, it's a duplex. It's 3 bedrooms, 3-1 on each side. And it's a side-by-side, right? So this is a duplex right here. Now look at that. That's something that. So furnace, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
you tell me what that is. Yeah,
main drain.
Look at this, right? All right. So this is a definite looker, right? Now, I did ask Caleb to take a look at it, and he said, "Dude, that's a solid deal." All right. So let's look at right now what the monthly rent for each one of those would be. Looking at Bigger Pockets, it says it's about $1,475. But Sean said that for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, we might be looking at, about $1,650. Let's say we just add an extra bathroom in there, what have you. It's either $1,500 to $1,600, Sean?
Yeah.
All right. See, this is the power of having everybody on the call. But I'm gonna go with my low number. All right. So let's look at the Property Brothers calculator. All right. So I basically said this house is a looker. It needs a makeover. I asked Caleb to tell me a number, and we came back with about 120,000. All right. So 120,000 to do the full rehab, bring it exactly to where it needs to be, clean out that house completely, right?
Right.
So how much can I afford? Well, the ARV on this is about 375. All right. The rehab is 120. So I can the maximum allowable offer is $161,000. We
What
can
were
get
they
this house
asking
for
for, Drew?
125,000. 125. All right. So let's change this to 70%. All right. That's $142,000 is a maximum allowable offer. That's well within the range of what we're trying to do. All right. So now, what does this look like? I'm taking this a step further, right? Once we've done everything, once we paid this, let's say the everything went about three months, right? We've got short-term points costs. We got the loan refinance costs. Total loan amount is $256,000 after we made our 2 purchase plus this. There's probably some short-term interest. Here's what's cool. If you get a loan, you might only pay interest for 1 month if you got Mr. CEO Keys banging it out in 3 months, right? Because you typically don't pay interest the first couple of months because they already built that into the cost of the loan, right? So let's say you got a 10% loan on $200,000. Let's say it was let's call it $1,500 on interest. So now your total loan amount, it's $257,000. The interest rates are, about 7.2 to 7.5. Let's just go 7.5. 30-year loan. Know that we said 1475 for the rent. It's probably going to be a little bit more.
Yeah,
right? But let's go conservative.
I got
right?
you.
So 2950. How much is insurance, guys? Maybe about
It's up
1,800.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
About
not
1,800.
1,000. I could tell you that, and not for that.
And then
Not no
annual
more.
taxes. And then annual taxes.
You're probably looking
that.
at like 2,000, maybe 2,500 on that thing.
Yeah, maybe let's call it 2,000. Let's call it 2,200. Boom. All right. PM fees is going to be 10% of your rent, right?
What does PM stand for? What is that? PM.
Property
That's Sean.
management fee.
That's Sean.
That's
Hey,
Sean.
Sean. Okay.
That's Sean.
for
Okay.
ya.
Sean,
That's making sense.
this
Okay.
is what you got to pay Sean to manage it.
Hey,
Right.
for real.
I
Hey.
got to take
So
care
check
of
it out, guys. So check it out. So the monthly maintenance expense, because we just remodeled it and we took care of all the major stuff, that maintenance expense doesn't have to be super high, right? But you still should put something, in there.
Right.
Shit happens,
Right.
You can put something in it.
then, yeah. And then you've also got your 5% vacancy fee, right?
Yeah, just in
So
case.
what does
Yeah.
this look like? $2,950 rent. The principal and interest is 1,802. Vacancy is that fee right there, 147. That's just going into your savings account just in case,
Right.
$150 a month for insurance, $183 for taxes. Your property maintenance fee is the biggest expense. No, I'm just kidding. And then maintenance is $40, right? So what do we got? Cash flow of $331 a month if you've got, both of those units rented, right? And you pulled out all your money when you refinanced it, right? You were able to pull that money out. And, your annual cash flow is $39.74. Now, if the rent was, let's just call it $32.50. All right. Well, there you go. There's your cash flow, monthly cash flow. Right?
That's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Jeez.
So that's what
your breakdown. I ain't gonna lie, your breakdown was the best, Drew.
Hey, first of all, they don't call me Numbers Ninja for nothing.
Yeah, Numbers Ninja for real.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
You made that thing sound real good.
Yes, sir.
So
That's
cool,
why I
man.
said That's why I said, man, it's a reason why God has brought us all together. There are certain things like I don't advertise, like I don't go through a deal like that. Like I'm gonna be honest, like I have a calculator, but I'm not to a T. I know I own a contracting company, so that's the perk of me doing certain things. So those are systems that I need in order to be able to scale the way that I want to, be able to
Hey, well, all
analyze
you got to do is go to the show notes at the end of the show and download your copy of this Property Brothers calculator, and you could have one too.
Boom. There you go, people.
Yeah, I'm
Do
finna
it.
watch
The
this a few
brothers
times.
got it going on
Yes, sir.
tonight. I tell you.
I
The
know I'm finna
brothers.
download that calculator. You better believe it.
Yes, sir. Get it. Get it.
Awesome.
Get it.
Awesome.
So wait. All right, man. So look, let's zoom out just for a quick second, man. And Jabez, what are some things that Jabez should be kind of thinking about to make this call? Sean, I'll let you go first. Let's kind of zoom out, bird's eye view. What are some things as a first-time buyer? We brought him 3 deals. What should he be thinking about?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the first thing you should be thinking about is cash flow. Okay,
Boom.
what are you getting monthly? Okay, I don't know if we spoke about that or not as we was looking at this property. Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah, we did. He punched in the
Okay, you
numbers.
did. Yes, sir, you did. Yes, sir. But yeah, what are you getting monthly? Okay, what is coming in for you and your family? That's the biggest thing. The other thing is mitigation of risk. Okay, I'm talking about when you're actually I'll let CEO Keys and Drew and Jordan talk about before you buy the property and when when you're doing a rehab process, but mitigation of risk after you hold the property. Okay, so you have to think about those things when you're actually rehabbing a property. Don't do a bunch of unnecessary things to the property that can really mess you up when you're holding it. Okay, like put a let's say a storm door on, okay, without a wind catcher. All right. I can explain that later. But those kind of things, tenants let those things swing in the wind.
Swing in the
Okay.
wind and they break.
All right.
Toilet
And
paper
We
maybe
know all
holder.
about that,
hey,
don't we,
hey,
Sean?
yes,
That
sir, we
doggone
do.
gate.
Yeah, and look, this stuff sounds controversial, but if you don't have to and the neighborhood don't call for it, don't put an AC unit inside of there. Okay.
Oh, that mug gonna get stole. Like, hey,
That's gonna be stole.
hey,
You better put a
stole.
cage over it if you do, and you
Hey,
better lock
this
it.
is Indianapolis, okay? So don't put it in there. If you don't
Don't
need it,
nap
don't put it in there.
on Nap
All right.
City.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. This is good to know.
Hey,
All right, cool.
Jordan. Hey, that was a good one. Don't nap on Nap City. Cause boy.
The Pacers balling right now too. Now looking like Cleveland gonna have a problem with them boys.
Hey.
And we're gonna win this
Oh.
year. We're gonna win this year.
Y'all looking tough right now,
Y'all ain't
man.
getting past the Dubs, dog.
They said, yeah.
Come on. Those are the main things I wanted you to know, man. Yeah, I'm done.
Cool, man.
Caleb, real quick, man. What you got? Real quick for him?
Never be discouraged, right? You gonna
Love
hit
it.
walls. You're gonna lose money. You're gonna make a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go through things, but just don't quit. A lot of times when I didn't even came to you guys in the past couple weeks, not feeling the best of things or not even wanting to do real estate as far as, I've always wanted to do real estate. I know it's a thing I never quit, but having that passion, that drive. And then the biggest thing I would say
Facts.
as well is buying smart. You don't buy the deal, and what do they say? What's the slogan with that? You don't buy your deal at the end, you buying it at the beginning. So you're starting out, how low you get that price for that house or the right price is going to determine your whole process. My last thing was instead of use 670, I use 65. So then I already know I got 5%
For the
buffer.
LTV.
Yeah,
Loan to
for
value.
the loan to value,
I like
aspect.
that, dude. That is some serious stuff right there.
I like
That's
that.
That's
You
beautiful.
know,
cool,
you
man.
got
Well,
a
thank you.
no-brainer,
Yes,
So
sir.
that's it.
Well, thank you, CEO Keys, Caleb. Drew, real quick, what should Jabez know as you've been looking at these deals?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that you have to figure out what is your buy box. So there's a lot of stuff that we really didn't cover in here. Like, do you really want to deal with a multifamily? Do you want to deal with a single family? What neighborhood is this particular property in? Are there certain amenities that you're looking for in a property? Are there certain amenities that you're looking for in a neighborhood? Right? Do you want to be in a B neighborhood, a C neighborhood, a neighborhood? Like, what are those things that you really need to put some serious consideration into before you say, I want to pull the trigger? Because, you might want to go on like Trulia, where Trulia lists like, what's
The
the school
neighborhood
ratings,
score.
what's the neighborhood, what are people saying about that neighborhood, right? Those are
Yeah.
all things that you need to take into consideration before you say, I like the money. Because, there are certain situations that happen in neighborhoods that I'm coming to find out that you probably don't want to be involved in, right? So you really need to take that into consideration. And then once you've done that, then you look at the property and just say, I definitely agree with the cash flow. I definitely agree. Can I get all of my money out? And will I have enough reserve just in case hits the fan, right? That I can, I'm going to still feel comfortable managing all of this.
Boom.
Jordan,
All right,
how about you,
Jabez.
brother? What about you, brother?
Man,
What do you think?
listen,
Yeah, what do
I'm
you
just gonna
think?
go ditto. I'm just gonna go ditto on what everybody said, man, because everybody just got some great points, with the cash flow, with buying right, with the neighborhood and the criteria, bro. It's all the way live. But hey, man, Jabez, it's all about you today, bro. So what is your move, man? You got your crew backing you. You got a couple deals in front of you, and you got a mic, right? So it's on you, brother. Like, what are you
Where are
leaning
you
to?
planting your tree?
Well, and
I want the mango tree. Where my mango
you
tree
better
gonna get
believe
planted?
well, you better believe I'm gonna drop an
But
apple tree. I'm gonna drop an apple tree over there on whatever I
Yeah,
do.
where
yes.
you planting it at?
So what's your gut telling you, Jabez? Like if you had to like pull the trigger right now,
From
what?
what Keys just said, I think maybe yours would be the best. And what I'm gonna do is because I don't want to wait too long either. That's the thing. I'm ready to get in the game, and
Yeah.
I trust your guys' instincts. And so we're gonna discuss more off of this podcast. But I'm leaning towards Drew's because of what Keys just said. But I feel like they're both wins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
they're both one's less work that you got to put in. That's why
Mm-hmm.
that's
if
another
you were
thing.
saying
Exactly.
mine, it's less work and
A
better to
lot
start
less
out.
work.
If we
Yes.
saying appreciation value and the long term of what your strategy is, are you still going to be able to get $2,500 worth of rent in that area? Yes, at 201 because it's near downtown. It's the
Yeah,
garage food hall. It's all that. But are you
yeah,
going to be able to get that on South Randolph because it's one exit away further? You know,
right,
Yeah.
right.
it's a
So
toss
hey,
up.
we might be
So I tell you what, this is
to
what
be
I'm gonna do, man.
continued.
This is to be
We
Yeah.
gotta
continued.
grab them all. We gotta catch them all.
Yeah.
That might
There
be
you go.
the
Pokemon.
Listen,
Cool, man.
I'm gonna make a decision. I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna make a decision. We'll chop it up about it a little bit more in detail, and I'm gonna make a decision, and then we'll do a follow up episode, step by step,
Let's
moving
do
forward
it.
as we go process, so people can learn from the experience. You know what I mean?
There we go.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Yes,
Let's
sir. All
go.
right,
Man,
man.
I'm
That's
excited,
what's up,
man.
bro.
well,
That's
we
what's up.
got
That is what is
Fucking
up.
yes, sir.
All right, bro. Well, listen, man.
Brothers.
We are, bro. And look, if you are sitting out there and you're listening or watching, and this is your first deal and you want to get in the game, man, and look, DM us and you're thinking about bringing something to the table, hit us up, man. Drop a comment, DM us. This is how we
Yes.
build together, one deal at a time. So we got to get up out of here. For CEO Keys, for Gabriel Property Management, Sean Elliott, for your boy Jabez, the numbers, Ninja, Drew,
Drew.
I'm Jordan. Hey, we are the Property Brothers.
Brothers. I love it, man.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
Peace, y'all.
Yes, sir.
BRRRRothas.
The Property Brothers was produced and edited by the hosts. All rights are reserved by the Property Brothers LLC, and the hosts are operating exclusively on behalf of the Property Brothers LLC. Please consult appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business advice. Nothing on this show should be considered professional advice. We appreciate you all for following our journey. It would mean the world to us if you could like, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. God bless.